go any further, but I'll just invite Neeraj's participation for a second in terms of what, based on your previous experience in Microsoft as well as now with SIFI, how are you seeing Neeraj the offtake as far as big data analytics, and how is the impact that you are seeing in the market?
Yeah, thanks, Sandeep. So basically what I foresee right now and what I foresee from all the participants' purview and how they are building right now and what they are looking at in future, there will be something like data on the go. So what has already been discussed in details, I would not harp too much on it, but the data which needs to be available to you at whatever time you are, at whatever place, it might not be easily feasible to access that data, but it should be securely available in rarest of rare places. Something like you're playing golf and you have to take some decisions on the go. You should have a device which should be secure. You should have the data content which should be encrypting that part of the device. And in case you need to wipe out, there should be possibilities of remotely wiping out. So on big data, not only from the perspective of getting the results on the go, but how to consume it is going to be very, very important. So right from the place where you are designing your data requirements, it is going to be critical to ensure that how the data is delivered to various stakeholders. Something like, I'll take some examples, I think it will make it much simpler. So in case any of you have created either an offline or online platform for business, like whether you're consuming technology or whether you have created an offline platform where you're trying to use technology to scale up. So everyone is talking about scaling up. So in order to scale up, you would require technologies to integrate, to get you reports, to get you data, to get the data put in the right perspective so that you can take decisions on it. So in case you are able to get that, that is what SIFI is trying to do, and that is what I bring on the table from the learnings from Microsoft perspective. So we are building a complete platform of Microsoft-centric services, like sub-services which are available off the shelf, something like Office 365, then mobile device management, so that you consume the data as and when you want and on the go. And third is business analytics on the go with readily available tools which you can use on your mobiles. So all these things we are working at the back end very closely with Microsoft to create those off-the-shelf products, because for you, it is not going to be investment at all. So as Sandeep has been kind of telling you that you are amongst those organizations who would want to consume off-the-shelf product. You would not go off the pains like the earlier organizations used to. They used to have a huge infrastructure first, then on that infra they used to think that there needs to be some tools to monitor, create reports, and then there used to be a huge team to work on the back end to create reports. No. For you, you will be few people who will be very, very specialized on the capabilities of how to extract and present. The data relevance will be purely because you know your business better than anyone else does. So we are collating those tools. We will provide the learning to your teams on how to use the data basis your requirement. And it will be so flexible that I can create as many reports as I want with dragging a few fields up and down. So that is what is what we are working on. The complete ecosystem of enablement where you can scale up to any level wherever you are looking at today.
Yeah, thanks, Neeraj. So I'm just coming to the concluding part of my session. So I think I just want to bring around as to what stage are you in. And I think when I say stage, this stage is not mutually exclusive stage. So I think there are multiple stages. I think many of these stages are concurrent. So for example, a stage of connect, that's a stage where SIFI is naturally in, because we will provide the connectivity, the integration, to ensure that all your services that you're rendering to your end customers are completely provided from this perspective. So connect is a very critical this thing. Second is host. So whatever is you plan to sort of bring it to your end customers, that needs to be hosted at a data center We are running some 6 data centers across the country, which are tier 3 data centers and about 15 tier 2 data centers. So most of your content can get hosted straight from our data centers. Importantly, next is as you grow, as you scale. So I was giving an example that as you scale, you will need a lot of different solutions. So if you're on a public cloud today, you may then want to, as part of your scaling up, you want to make sure that you're building a hybrid cloud and a private cloud and other things. So that's the time that we will help you scale in your own journey. Once you scale, you really want to gallop and you want to really accelerate. So that's the time that you will be consuming more and more services, more and more basically front-end optimization services like big data analytics and so on and so forth. That's very critical. Secure, I mentioned about cyber security and how that is impacting most of the business. And finally, it's basically shrink. So once you've expanded so much, you've scaled as much as you need, but that's the time for you to collapse a lot of these business and then shrink it to the right size. It is possible that you may be working with maybe 3 telecom providers. It is possible that you may be working with 5 sort of technology platforms. It is possible that you may be working with multitude of service providers and so on and so forth. So once you've scaled, once you've sort of expanded to a significant degree, there is a time for you to shrink to the right size to ensure that you are able to better manage your business than really running after the technology issues. So I think we help plan the shrinkage journey as well. So what I mean really by shrinkage is optimize your IT spend as you've scaled up, and there is a multitude of technologies. Ensure that you're rightly containerized and compartmentalized in your whole approach. Very critical. So you had a point, Himanshu, on the shrink aspect as to how do you plan it from a data center transformation perspective.
Yeah. So before that, Sandeep, I'll just like to have a show of hands. How many of you have your own data centers? No one, I guess.
So that is exactly the expectation that we had.
That was the expectation. Okay, how many of you are hosted with somebody? How many of you are hosted on a public cloud? Okay, few of you. Okay. How many of you have your own private clouds? None of you, I guess. So you are mostly on public cloud. And the last question from my side is, how many of you are hosted with these 2 companies, Azure and AWS, Amazon? Quite a few of them. Okay. Okay. Now can I have a answer from somebody as to what additional services you would like to have from Amazon or Azure? Additional services in sense, are you into a phase where you would like to go expand your business and then have more VMs with them, or you have to have a phase where you have to shrink your VMs, virtual machines? Are you into that phase? Is somebody doing with Amazon or Azure as of now, or it's a stable business that you have taken some virtual machines with them and that's it?
You keep on adding machines as you go. I mean, some instances are reserved, which are 1 year reserved and 3 year reserved.
Right. Okay.
And mostly on web servers and application servers, you keep on adding as you demand.
Right.
So, if it is stable or shrinking, you might as well take a fixed machine in SIFI or NetMagic, right?
Yeah.
But if it's on-demand model, you don't know what your hourly usage is.
Yeah.
Then you go on Amazon, right?
Right. So I'll just add to what Sandeep was saying, and why we thought that we being here would be prudent is the fact that now SIFI has been continuously transforming since last 15 years, since its inception. And we thought of coming out or innovating a special division called Startup Division, headed by Vivek Sharma here, who is heading the sales. At times we thought that these public cloud providers may not be able to cater to your needs in terms of personalized attention that you may need. So from that point of view, we have our own cloud here called Cloud Infinite, you know, which actually would be a complete managed services model, whereupon you know, you will have a direct connect with the people here, and we are focused upon giving you flexibility in terms of even shrinkage, because I'm not sure whether this public cloud, suppose if you want tomorrow that you have to reduce your RAM, I think you can reduce a VM, but probably reducing a RAM or, you know.
So Himanshu, I
reducing
think
a
where
RAM.
we came from is our experience where actually we've got feedback from customers that look, as we have, so I think as long as it's still a reasonable size, I think a public cloud is actually fine. It works very well, as you said. But as you start to scale, adding, deleting and other things, sometimes you just lose track of your inventory itself, how many VMs you're running and what kind of VMs are under what usage and under so on and so forth. That is where the managed services come in. So I think our role comes in from a managed services perspective of these public cloud as well. So I think what he was essentially trying to say, so whether you're using Amazon or Azure or Software or even SIFI public cloud, managed services is something which is very critical. How do you ensure that you're managing the database? How do you ensure that you're managing the RAM and scaling up and down from your need perspective as you are scaling up your operations and so on and so forth? It need not be the job from your own IT team perspective. This, yeah.
I think I'll help you in your argument yourself. Where you could add value is where the scale is beyond public cloud. For example, in MySQL, there won't be anything more than 128 gig or 256 gig that Amazon would support. Even with the number of cores, you hit a ceiling on RDS instance. If you are putting in multiple data center, which is multi-AZ options, there would be a ceiling. So if I'm doing transactions which are more than, say, 300,000 orders per hour, that's not possible. And for cloud-based companies like us, which are combining 8 countries operation in one instance, there we will hit a ceiling, right? That's one thing. Second thing is companies where you would have a requirement of, say, many of our customers are running, say, enterprise edition of SQL Server, right? So these options are not available on public clouds.
Yeah.
Third instance where I'm helping your cause, basically. So third instance where you would be helpful is because you have a defined ecosystem, the partnerships would be much useful. For example, if someone is hosting a site on you, then you would help them connect with digital marketing companies who are also hosted on the same platform.
Yeah.
Right? So those cross leverage will be helpful.
So I think that cross leveraging itself is something which is very critical. So I think for people who are hosted, for example, with say us at our data centers, I'm just giving an example. Our data centers are now connected to about 42 other data centers in the country. It's anyway hot-wired, connected. In addition, it is connected to AWS, it is connected to Azure, it is connected to Salesforce.com, it is connected to Office 365 and some other platforms. So what it means is whatever processing that you are doing out of our servers, you have an instant fat pipe of hundreds of gigs access to these public clouds. So from a consumer perspective, your customer perspective, it is a seamless access. That is the most critical thing. So so from a design principle perspective, these are some critical aspects. So I think we've got our sort of teams. I think we've got our teams who are outside as well. So we can probably converse beyond that because I think we are coming to the end of the time. So just a quick summary. So I think we spoke about these things. So based on the trends, how does that impact to us and our customers? I think so obviously, so I'm summarizing from the perspective of connectivity. So I think ensuring that you are able to access to your customers faster by either hosting it out of our data centers or ensuring that you're taking the respective telecom fat pipes or the right pipes, whichever is essential from your perspective. So ensure faster connectivity, ensuring you are able to host and scale as you need. So I think in some cases you need a combination of a public and private cloud so that hosting itself is a different journey by itself. I spoke about accelerated content delivery where your customers could be in Gorakhpur or on Fiji or wherever, but he ensures he gets the same access speed. wherever he is, because your services are getting instantly cached at multiple servers. I'm saying 270,000 odd servers across the board. That's a critical piece. We talk about cyber security and so on and so forth. So that's the sort of key essence of what we wanted to package. And before we just leave, I think just a few words about what SIFI is and what sort of vision that we are bringing together. So we are an ICT organization, so with a heritage of telecom and data center, but we do things like system integration and application-based services. So that's our heritage. These are some FAQs and sort of did you knows with respect to SIFI. Some of you would have used our services when we were a B2C player. We incidentally we were in India's first private ISP as well. So from a home dial-up, internet access was also being provided by SIFI, including your cyber cafes and other things. We've exited out of the B2C business. We are a pure play B2B player, but these are some of our sort of a SIFI KYC, if you were to say.